Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, BallDontLieUK, and if you've read the title, you know what this video is going to be about. We'll be taking a look at the summary of the 2020-2021 season. We'll also take a look at the playing game, how it works, and also some of the storylines that transpired in the season. But first of all, I do want to generally thank you guys for all the support, the likes, subscribing, the commenting. Please, keep on doing it. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And also, your friends that do watch basketball, your friends that don't watch basketball, let them know about the channel and support the wave. And it will just motivate me even more to put more videos out there for you guys. So I did touch on how I wasn't too sure on how the playing game worked in my last video. If you haven't seen that video, check that out. But I did speak on how I wasn't too sure about it. Of course, I did my research and it can seem a little bit complicated, but trust me, it's pretty straightforward. So let's get into it and I'll explain to you how the playing game works. So the 7th and 8th seed teams play each other, and the winner of the 7th and 8th seed gets the 7th spot straight away. So they can only win one game and make the playoffs. But the loser of the 7th and 8th seed gets to play the winner of the 9th and 10th seed. So they can still make the playoffs even after losing one game. But the loser of the 9th and 10th seed gets to kick rocks. They don't make it into the playoffs. So the winner of the 9th and 10th seed have to win 2 games to make it into the playoffs. As of right now, we have the Lakers in the 7th spot, and no one wants to face the Lakers in the first round. There are stories that LeBron James and also other star players like Luka Doncic displaying their displeasure with the playing games, and they basically don't like the idea of it, which personally I don't think is that bad, because having 2/3 of the teams this late into the playoffs, it kind of prevents teams from tanking, which I'm not really a big fan of, because how do you get rewarded for losing? You know what I mean? Even though my team is right now tanking and trying to get the best prospects from college, but this is how the playing game works. Hopefully that made some sense. And yeah, and it actually dawned on me the other day that imagine if you're a team like the Utah Jazz or the Phoenix Suns trying your absolute best, getting the highest seed possible, and a team like the Lakers end up in the playing game, which no one would have thought about, and you have to face LeBron in the first round, which with his track record, he's only lost one first round playoff game. So you're pissed basically, but good luck to him. But as I've said, in the previous video, I feel like this season hasn't been as exciting as maybe previous season before. But saying that, I feel like there's been some good storylines that's transpired in this season, and I've picked out 4 or 5 storylines or topics that I want to touch on in this episode. I'll start with the New York Knicks. The Knicks this season, I'll be lying to you if I said I saw them finishing where they are right now, or seeing them doing as good as they have done this season. Right now, currently, they are 5th, 6th. I don't think they'll get the first round home court advantage, but they're still in the playoffs. They're not gonna end up in the playing game, which is a big plus for New York Knicks. It's the first time since 2013 that they've made the playoffs, and the league's always in a better place with the Knicks being relevant. I don't think die-hard New York Knicks fans had hopes for them this season, but coming into the season, they didn't really have any identity. I don't think the Knicks have had a really noticeable identity for the past couple of years. But this season, after most importantly acquiring a coach that stands for something, that knows, that has his way of playing. They acquired Tom Thibodeau. If you know Tom Thibodeau, he's really hard-nosed, very no-nonsense type of military type of coach. You know what I mean? He already, by acquiring him as their coach, they've set some sort of identity how they're gonna play. And his style of play, when he used to coach the Bulls, it fits perfectly. It goes hand in hand with the culture of New York Knicks basketball. So I think he was perfect coach to bring in. Of course, the players as well are important, and their star player being Julius Randle. I think this season he's been absolutely amazing. I read the stat somewhere that he's going to be the first Nick to average 20, 10, and 5 assists. And it may seem mediocre, but it's very impressive, especially in the NBA as well, which of course got him his first All-Star appearances, and hopefully there'll be more to come for him. The other players that they have around them, and the Nerlens Noels, the Taj Gibsons, acquiring Derrick Rose and the trade deadline has been an absolute godsend for them. They definitely needed a spark off the bench, and he's the perfect player to do so. Sounds crazy to say, you know, Derrick Rose being the perfect player coming off the bench, considering he was, you know, league's MVP, the youngest MVP in the league till this day. You know, he was absolutely ridiculous. You know, there are some diehard Derrick Rose fans out there, but yeah, no, he was amazing, and he still is. He gives them quality minutes and quality, you know, points off the bench, which, you know, they will definitely need it on players, because if you know anything about the playoffs, you need to score. If you don't score, you get bounced out the first round. But yeah, Derrick Rose being there has been the perfect addition to them. But the Knicks basketball as a whole, the players as a whole, they're a team with very low ego. They don't really have, you know, the big star players like that. Again, with a team in a very big market, it's a little bit disappointing that they couldn't acquire the best talents like the Zion Williamsons, the Kevin Durants, the Kyries, stuff like that. But the team that they've assembled right now it fits them, it suits them. You know, shout out the Knicks. Hopefully they make some noise in the playoffs. You already know they will, but we'll see how far they go. Moving on to the neighbors across the city, the Brooklyn Nets. Where the hell do I start with the Brooklyn Nets? They first acquired KD, Kyrie in the offseason last season. Obviously, KD couldn't play because of his Achilles injury, which no one really knew how good he'd be coming back. And obviously, KD's, in my opinion, is the best player that's ever touched a basketball, and you will not convince me otherwise. You know, obviously he's come back at 90%, and he's still, you know, the best player everyone's ever set their eyes on. But yeah, now all jokes aside, having KD and Kyrie and the starting lineup this season, you know, everyone had high expectations for them. You know, everyone had high expectations for them to at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But obviously at the start of the season, first couple of weeks in, there were stories transpiring that James Harden's unhappy at Houston, been there for 7-8 years now, never really, you know, the best he could take him was, I mean, he was a game away from making the NBA Finals, and you already know he choked to Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors. But yeah, he was extremely unhappy at Houston, and he just wanted out. Understandably so, because, you know, he is coming to not the end of his career, but he's in his prime. He wants to win now. I don't blame him. And, you know, there's a chance to come and play with, you know, Kyrie and Kevin, he wouldn't take the opportunity. So having James Harden, Kyrie, and KD, you're always going to be a top-heavy team regardless. Like, you're just not going to have, you know, the defensive. They do have capable 3-and-D players around them. They're not the best defensively, but they do try. With the big three of KD, Kyrie, and James Harden only played 7 games. This is crazy. They've only played 7 games together, but they've been berated with injuries. Obviously, with everything that's been going on this season, which team hasn't been berated with injuries? But they've managed to steady the ship. All credit to Steve Nash as well, rookie coach in the NBA who's never coached a day in his life, but he's proven to be a really good coach. But, you know, he'll be judged more in the playoffs when, you know, teams focus and like key in on the Brooklyn Nets and see which ways they can beat them, and, you know, in high pressure situations, see what type of calls he makes and how he handles, you know, the utmost pressure and the expectations from, you know, everyone else. So the next storyline I'm going to touch on isn't going to be a team, it's actually going to be a player. And this player is no other than 2-time league MVP, 1-time unanimous MVP, Steph Curry. Curry this season has been insane. He's been fake. The things he's been doing on the basketball court, I've never seen before. And not so much in like points and stuff like that, but the type of buckets he's getting, insane. And you hear things like, the things he does, you can only do this in, like, you know, a video game. You can only do this in 2K. the things he's doing this season, I don't think you can even do that in 2K. He's been absolutely fit. He's been ridiculous. It's only a couple days ago he came to my arena, dropped 49 points with 11 threes. But history tells us that Curry and the Thunder is the worst match possible. He absolutely tortures us every single time he plays us. I still have nightmares of this game.
To use it, Curry, way downtown, bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! With 0.6 of a second remaining!
He's been on an absolute tear. He dropped a total of 96 threes in the month of April. That's insane. Some players make 96 threes in a whole season. He made that in a month. And the way teams are guarding Curry like this, it will be very interesting to see how these teams actually guard him in the playoffs as well. Because if you let him, if he sees a couple shots go in, it's game over. You're just gonna have to pray that he somehow misses. But once he gets his shots going, he's at your mercy. You know what I mean? Or you're at his mercy. I don't know how the saying goes, but you know what I mean. Moving on swiftly, we'll be talking about the Los Angeles Lakers. This season, they've been absolutely decimated with injuries. This Lakers team, they've been battle tested. Do you know what I mean? I think this is going to be, but then again, everyone says this every single season with LeBron. I think this season is going to really test LeBron and how he can carry this team. Even though, yes, he has, the star player in AD, but it's going to be very interesting to see how he carries this team, who's lost a lot of their identity when they had Dwight, JaVale, Rajon Rondo. How he can carry this team to see how far he can take him into the playoffs. So last but not least, we'll be talking about Mr. Triple-Double, Russell Westbrook. I nearly left him out of this actually, until he, a couple days ago, recently passed Oscar Robertson's triple-double mark with 182. He's been absolutely ridiculous. Westbrook has been on an absolute tear, and just like Curry as well. But the thing is, at the start of the season, Westbrook came into it, having these niggly injuries, like a knee injury here, knee injury there. He just wasn't 100%, and his performances just reflected, how his body was at the start of the season. It wasn't good at all. And of course, social media being reactionary, they wrote him off. They said, that was it. That was the end of his career. But he's actually lost it. He wasn't a superstar anymore. I can't lie to you. Those thoughts were creeping into my head. But after he got back to full fitness, you really saw the real Russell Westbrook. He was running the team. He took a lot of the offensive pressure or the offensive load off of Bradley Beal. He was distributing the ball, rebounding the ball. He's the best rebounding guard the game's ever seen. At 6'3", 6'4", he's an athletic freak. He's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like even though Westbrook hasn't won a title, he still needs to get the respect he deserves, in my opinion. He's been absolutely ridiculous. I've loved watching him at the Thunder for the past decade or so. He's been ridiculous, but people do need to give him his respect. And yeah, shout out to Westbrook. But I feel like this season, towards the end of the season, is set up perfectly for the playoffs, and I can't wait. And you guys should tune in as well. It's gonna be really fun. I'll be making more videos on how the playing game turns out. We'll be doing a video on the playoff bracket, who I think is gonna win their matchups, and also the games leading into the Western Conference and Eastern Conference finals. I do want you guys to keep commenting, keep subscribing, liking my videos, and like I said, tell a friend to tell a friend, and support the move and support the wave. And I'll be putting more videos out there for you guys. Let's have fun with it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.